Hey guys, it's Caribbean Wrestlers You Should Know, sponsored by Premier Pro Wrestling. I'm Randy Ritchie, and I've been putting this off for a while only because I don't know where to begin or where to end. But in honor of Caribbean American Heritage Month, we're going to honor, and I mean a man who deserves honor, Savio Vega. In about '03, I first started to talk to Victor Quinones, the owner of IWA Puerto Rico, and I always considered it the best kept secret in pro wrestling when IWA Puerto Rico was just unbelievably and undeniably the number one wrestling company on the island. The biggest thing that they had going down there, once again, was the crowd reaction that was just unsurpassed anywhere in the world, especially or even for World Wrestling Entertainment. You know, they were able to be so creative and work so hard with so many talented people. They were able to get the crowd to do exactly what they wanted them to do when they wanted to do it. And if you believe it or not, and you guys probably don't know during this era, that is worth more than its weight in gold. You know, it's a feat that, just like I says, it hasn't been done since the 80s. You know, and it might not have even been in the 80s a great depiction of, you know, the crowd. And you guys watching wrestling, believe me, if you saw it and felt it, you would understand how important it is and how valuable it was to have that crowd reaction, you know, for the viewer, which equates into everything else. Wrestling television is the engine that, you know, runs a wrestling company, you know. Today they live and die by that, but at the end of the day, wrestling is a business. And, you know, it's always been an entertaining infomercial that is so entertaining you don't know you're being hit with an infomercial to get you to spend money to keep the company going, you know. So, like I says, there's so many stories and so many things that I've gone through to go down there and to work with, and I can't think of IWA Puerto Rico or wrestling in Puerto Rico without thinking of Savio Vega. This guy is all effing heart. He's all heart in his personal life. He's all heart in his personal relationships. He's all heart inside that ring. He's all heart when it comes to business. He loves the wrestling industry, and he loves being Puerto Rican. He loves his island. You know, go ahead and go down that rabbit hole, and I'll put some links in the description, especially one that I'm going to quote pretty soon, an interview that he had with Tom Campbell of Cultaholic Wrestling after this stuff with Bad Bunny, you know, at SummerSlam. So, Savio is 5'11", 260 pounds, and a 5'11", 260-pound man should not be able to move the way Savio has always moved in that ring. He is such an impressive effing athlete. I see this word being thrown around today, and it's making a fucking punchline. Ring general. You have no idea what that means, and you should go to hell for even coining the phrase, because people who throw that name around or consider themselves ring generals don't know shit about shit. Savio Vega is a ring general, and you can ask so many people. You could ask Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could ask The Undertaker if Savio Vega is a fucking ring general. This guy could do anything in the ring, and in addition to his amazing athletic prowess, the fucking guy is a natural-born storyteller. I defy you to watch any match that he's ever been in and not be compelled for any company anywhere in the world, including Japan and Mexico, okay? Savio broke into business when he must have been 19 years old. He's a year older than me, which I didn't know. but he's got 4 or 5 years on me experience in wrestling, and also he's got that worldwide prowess. He originally broke in Puerto Rico. He stood out, and for you young guys today that are trying to make it in the wrestling industry, he was told by the old timers, he was taken under many wings because of the fact that you're better than the rest of these guys, because he worked harder than the rest of those guys. You get out of life what you put into life, and the character that you develop. And I'm not talking about wrestling characters, I'm talking about character in general, is what you do during the ups and downs and the faith that you keep. And to this day, Savio should be bitter with all the things that he's experienced, good and bad, and he's not. He's down there in Puerto Rico making a run of things with IWA Puerto Rico, and I'm going to go ahead and post in the description a link to IWA Puerto Rico's YouTube channel. The program is so unbelievable that without television, they're starting to draw again when they're running, down on the island, and the guy loves it. He also feels that he has a debt to pay to the industry, as he owes it to the industry to bring along young talent. Savio's never had any problem doing what's best for the business. On the island, he will protect his character because he means so much, and the character is something. Let me just go ahead and try to give you an idea of what I'm talking about insofar as what Savio Vega means on the island, meant on the island. When I first went down there in person in 2004, I got into the inner workings of the company and blah, blah, blah. I can go on and on about that stuff. But what I'm going to talk about is they had a sponsor, and the sponsor sold, I'm not talking about the brand, I'm talking about the bike. When I think of those little bikes, those little, not moped, but it's between a motorcycle and a moped, I always think Vespa. I don't know if these are Vespas or not, but you know what I'm talking about. When you're on the island or in Puerto Rico or in Mexico even, these are very popular. The tourists like to tool around on them, but also the people that live there tool around on them because the weather's so good. You could ride that thing, and it's just economically smart, to own one of those things, because then your gas bill your fuel bill becomes $2 a week. But they're very popular down there, more popular than anywhere else I've seen in the country. And in the window, they're showcased in the window of this sponsor who sold those, built those, and made custom bikes. They had a Savio Vega El Presidente style bike with Savio Vega's face on the seat and gold trim and all the extras and stuff. That's how over this guy was. And these things actually sold on the island. Never have I seen any wrestler anywhere in the world who meant that much anywhere in the world. You understand what I'm saying? That's how over Savio Vega was. There are so many people, including in which blew my mind, that kid that was Delirious from Ring of Honor. You kids love him today. He's messing with Roman Reigns. He's pals, best friends with Kevin Owens, the ROH kid. I forget his name off the top of my head. He even credits Savio Vega for training him, And when Savio got into the wrestling industry, man, he learned everything he could about it, and he applies it, He had such balls and guts as a youngster to go into work for Bill Watts' UWF for a handful of years to learn the craft. And that was at the suggestion of Luke of the Bushwhackers. He had so much gumption to go to Mexico at the time and work down there as a heel, when in fact it was real legitimate heat between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans at the time, as Mexicans looked down on Puerto Ricans. It's changed, thank God. Not 100%, but it's a lot better. But I mean, going to Mexico and being a heel as a young guy, it takes guts. It takes a lot of balls. Everybody says they want to be a wrestler. Well, just like an officer and a gentleman, my grandmother wants to fly jets, show me. And Savio is a show me type of guy. He's got so many friends in the industry, and the thing about Savio is He is really good friends with the Undertaker. They know each other very well, and everybody knows that. I think if you don't, you can go ahead and go down that rabbit hole and see what I'm talking about. He's also friends with just other walks of life anywhere. He doesn't big time anyone, even though he has a big time status. This has never gone to his head, and that's the type of humble man that he is. His family is number one. Living on that island is number one. He could only help any wrestling company in the world today, including World Wrestling Entertainment, if he was an agent or if he was part of creative, because he has such a great mind for the industry, coupled with knowing the wrestling industry as a performer from inside the ring and out, okay? And he could beg his way into a spot. He could probably beg his way into a spot and go back on the road with World Wrestling Entertainment. Vince McMahon knows how talented Savio is, but Savio loves his island, and Savio loves passing the torch and trying to build something on the island so wrestling will be on the island, So recently, a lot of you people that are probably listening have only become aware of Savio Vega because of his recent appearance at SummerSlam. I think it was Backlash. I'm sorry, guys. I get my pay-per-views mixed up. Still blows my mind that they do pay-per-views on Saturdays. As a company that runs Fridays and Saturdays, that certainly doesn't help, But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and post this link too in the description because they ask us to. The first thing is this, and it's just what's right is right. Not that they'll ever do that for me, but I'm going to keep my side of the street clean. If you use any of the quotes above, please credit the original source with an H/T and link back to Fightful for the transcription. Speaking with Tom Campbell of Cultaholic Wrestling, Vega reflects on his appearance at WWE Backlash. That was incredible. That was I don't know how to describe it. We know, of course, the fans in Puerto Rico will have a good reaction. The pop when they see my face next to Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny. My God, I was in shock, to be honest. I was like, wow, the biggest pop of the night is what the crew said. Or told Vega, or how they describe it. I didn't see it, but I would imagine that it is, because Savio's not an exaggerator, and you can even tell by this statement the kind of man that this is. He loves wrestling. He loves this business. He loves this industry, When asked to describe how appearing in front of the WWE Universe felt, Vega noted that he had continued to wrestle in Puerto Rico, so fans there have seen him. However, he didn't get the chance to perform in Puerto Rico during his time with WWE, which is a shame, But never say never, right? I understand they're starting to tour Puerto Rico again or come to Puerto Rico again, so that's a good thing. And he made it clear that getting a chance to do so at WWE Backlash meant a lot to him. Here's Savio's own words. I continue to wrestle here in Puerto Rico. I have my company, IWA Puerto Rico. The fans see me here or there. They see me on television doing promotion and this and that, and it's okay. They love what they see, what we're doing here in Puerto Rico, and it is really growing, guys. I encourage you, if you're a wrestling fan, when I put the link to their YouTube channel, to go ahead and subscribe. Now, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, they're going to wrestle. 2 Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, never been done before. When I was with them and Carlito was with them, I don't know if Carlito had the chance to go to Puerto Rico, I'm not sure. But I don't have the chance because they didn't travel to Puerto Rico by that time. See, we just said that. So it's like now, or it's like, wow, now they're coming with this huge event. The event was okay, but having Bad Bunny there made it a little bigger. Here in Puerto Rico, everybody's talking about that. The news, the talk shows, you make it. Just today, I did 5 interviews. Tomorrow, I have more. And the next day, and the next day. So I love that. And that helps the local wrestling here. What an experience. I'm going to check in with him too, guys, because we do text each other. But it's funny, I don't text him about wrestling. I text him about family. I text him about personal. And what he's trying to do in Puerto Rico, he ain't making no fucking money trying to do this. Just like I'm not. But sometimes we both are in that rut, when things come up, you go, is this fucking worth it? Am I a mark or am I a genius? You know what I mean? Vega was also asked to describe, but anyway, before I do that, I want to say that, I can imagine this only boosted IWA Puerto Rico, because now Savio Vega's star power on the island is at the forefront, and on that island is only 60 miles by 120 miles, you know what I mean? Vega was also asked to describe how his WWE Backlash appearance came about. And this is cool. This is the type of guy he is too. He credited Damian Priest and Bad Bunny with making it happen. Vega noted that he met Priest at WWE Survivor Series in 2020, and they kept in touch after that. Vega stated Priest played a major part in making his return happen. And I love to hear that, and this is what I'm talking about, And it's one of those times that makes my heart warm to see that he probably took Priest under his wing, because Priest was a Puerto Rican. He's a New York Rican. And obviously, he grew up with Puerto Ricans in a Puerto Rican house. Even if he'd never been to the island, which a lot of New York Ricans have not, he would have known and heard the name Savio Vega. He would have had access to Savio in the ring because of his status with Puerto Ricans from the island, But anyway, a credit to Damian Priest for being that humble and being approachable, and then the credit, being humble enough to approach Savio, but then also, the credit again to Savio, where if someone is willing, man, he'll do anything for him when it comes to this wrestling industry. And I called it probably in 2020, watch for this Damian Priest kid. He's going to be a top guy. We'll see if he can maintain it, but he seems to have really good politics. The look is undeniable. And I don't watch a lot of WWE, but when I do and I see Damian Priest, I can see this guy developing, and you'd have to be a moron not to notice that name is probably within the top 10 guys today in the industry, when you're like me and you just get things in a feed that you don't really click on and see, but I see that name, Damian Priest, and go, yeah, I fucking knew it. They got in contact, this is Savio again, they got in contact with me because this is the mastermind of Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. They're both fans of me. See, I just said that. That's funny. I discovered that when I went to the farewell of The Undertaker, I saw Damian Priest there. And as soon as I see him, I went to him and said, hey, man, how are you doing? I said, I want to take a picture with you. He said, I want to take a picture with you. Well, I love it because that just backed up what I foresaw, my foresight. I said, no, I want to take a picture with you. So I talked to him a little bit there, my experience and stuff like that. We don't talk too much, but we keep in touch by phone. So this idea was them, more Damian Priest. And he said, I'd like to have these two guys in Puerto Rico when they find out they're going to do this pay-per-view over here. The dream came true. And then the rest to put the puzzle together, soon that happened. The company called me and asked if I'm interested in being a part of it. I said, why not? Yes, let's do it. They said, Carlitos is going to be in town. I said, bring him down too. That's good. It was great. And that's all I want to say, like in closing, man. All your great athletes in any industry, I'm talking about just two examples, Michael Jordan, at basketball, and Mike Tyson in boxing. To be great, you must study the greats. Savio Vega is a great, and I don't care what style you work or what you aspire your character to be. You study somebody like Savio Vega and you can't go wrong. You could almost imitate Savio Vega in the ring today and not only stand out, but, if you can maintain the character that he has, and I'm not talking about his wrestling persona, I'm talking about the character and the heart and the type of guy that he is. You already saw how he was breaking balls and Priest were breaking balls about who's the bigger star. You see what I'm saying? That level of humility, man, you can't fucking fail, He's a sweet guy, The other thing that people don't know about Savio Vega, well, you might know about Savio Vega because he was featured in that Brawl for All. Savio is legitimate fucking hard ass, and I love when your legitimate fucking hard asses are fucking sweet human beings, and that's Savio Vega, The guy never gives up. He has so much grace, as a human being. And when you have a friendship or relationship with Savio Vega, he's never fucking worried about what he can get out of it, man. It's from the heart. But you got to pay your dues, and he's got to know you, you know. I love communicating with this guy. It's been years since I've seen him. I don't think I've actually seen Savio Vega since '08. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't text each other a couple, 3 times a month, you know, with personal stuff, and also just to check in, and little things with, you know, spiritual stuff to keep us going, you know. And maybe that explains a lot of the reason why Savio is the way he is. He is a very spiritual man, and he does not treat people like shit, you know. And any good that comes to Savio Vega, he deserves. He is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the history of pro wrestling. And once again, Vince knows how powerful Savio is, what a great attribute he is to wrestling. But I don't think Savio would take a job there doing what he's doing, and the fact that he loves to be at home with his wife and his kids, you know, and that is a shoot, you know. He comes from great stock. His father is a great man. You know what I mean? All right, guys, I hope you appreciate this. Again, Caribbean wrestlers, you should know. I'm Randy Ritchie, and please go to the description, because I'm going to go ahead and do what I said I was going to do and post that article from Fightful or whatever the hell it was. And also the YouTube channel for IWA Puerto Rico. And please be cool, like and subscribe. Note this is being brought to you without YouTube commercials. And in the description, too, you can see how to help support Premier Pro Wrestling and get cool shit. Specifically, our official merchandise shop, Premier Pro Wrestling on Pro Wrestling Tees and Patreon.